Hi y'all. Well, winter's pretty much on its way. Looks like pretty much folks are staying in the warmer places, but I had to get out. I wanted y'all to hear a piece I've been working on. Let me set this stuff down a little bit. There. And I found this really cool log. Oh, there's my hand in the way. Hello. I found this really cool log, and I'm going to climb up here and sit down. There's that hand again. You better get out of there. Anyway, so let me see if I can climb up here. Oh yeah. Well, she's old, but she can still climb a little. And sit here with you for a few minutes. And let you know that I love you. I do. Oh my goodness, look at that hair. Well, that's a bit frightful. I don't want that hand to get in the way again, so I'm going to try real hard not to. Last few weeks have been a little bit difficult, getting a little bit better. The hyperbaric chamber does help. Now, here's part that I didn't want to talk about really, but I don't see a good time, whenever to talk about it, so I'm just going to. I've had a very active life, and as a youngster I was kind of a risk taker, and I'm sure a lot of you can identify with that kind of thinking. I've been hit in the head a lot, and over the years, I never much thought anything about it, but between breaking horses and, climbing up trails and just being generally clumsy a little bit, I've hit my head way too many times. And there may be some of you out there who are going to have to kind of face this thing too. So if I can keep my fingers out of the way. There we go. All right. Yeah, my arm was getting tired. But if I can help you in some way by letting you watch over time what may be something I can't do anything about. There we go, a little bit of sun. Feels better. CTE is a very real and sometimes devastating deterioration of the brain, and it comes from having too many hits to the head. And about 10 concussions ago, the doctor said, you can't have any more concussions. You can't hit your head no more. And to which I said, okay, I'll be real careful. But to date, there's probably been about 30. Some of it was, working with horses. Stuff happens, you fall off, you get bucked off. I mean, stuff just happens. And living in places where there's ice, I've fallen down several times. Showing off to my kids when I was younger, yep. Same thing. Along with some bruises to show it. And I have a sense of humor now. But this is a very real battle that's just beginning. And And if I can offer support to any of you who are thinking about these same things, they say that there is no true diagnosis of this. They also say that everybody's a little bit different. So my struggle may be different from somebody else's, but in the comments, if you are starting to or have been already diagnosed by preponderance of evidence, is the best way I can put it, let me know. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know if there's anything you have found. I have found a couple of things. One my brother has told me about, and that was what had happened in the very first, about 3 or so years ago, when my white blood cell count spiked for what seemed like no reason at all. They did so many tests on me. They did so many tests on me for cancer and lymphomas and, oh my God, just anything you can think of, they were doing that. And they found me to be perfectly healthy, which I think that's kind of important too, because your health has to be watched over as you approach this. The white blood cells clean the dead cells. They clean out the what has died or what is dying. They clean all that out, and the toxins go in the blood. And when that happens, you start feeling effects. And I started feeling effects. The first thing that happened to me was I lost a tremendous amount of weight very quickly. And finding out that it was all water. But that's also the body's way of getting ready to have a fight. Then I lost most of my hair, which was sadly very long, and I always thought quite pretty. But your body is only going to hang on to what it needs for survival and to do the fight. And apparently, there's that hand again. And apparently, the fight's kind of big. So, when the white blood count was elevated so high and they didn't know what it was, and everybody was in a mystery, and I was just too stressed out. I really was. I was too stressed out to go through any more tests. It was very hard. It was very hard to have all those tests done, not seeing anything come of it, and the test becoming more severe. I hadn't had a bone marrow check yet, and I just kind of lost it and ran away. Well, that's when I found myself down here in Salt Lake with my family. And at that time, I was pretty sick. I was. There's that hand again. Get out of there. Excellent nutrition was a turning point for me. And my cousin gave me that. Plus a lot of love. And also Michael's love. Love and health, man, they seem to go hand in hand. I would hope that you have family or somebody that you can talk to about these things. There are emotional instabilities that come. There is change of how you act and what you do. And this is something that happens with a lot of athletes or in repetitive strikes to the head and concussions and such. It's very important that you understand there are things that you can do. And I'm going to go discover them all if I can. Now, a lot of this stuff is really expensive. The hyperbaric treatments, yeah, they are kind of expensive. They run me about $65 a piece right now, and they really want me to do this for like an entire month, 30 days in a row. Y'all, there's nothing I can afford like that. I have too many other things going on. Originally, I thought selling the ranch would be a good idea because the stress of that summer has seemed to bring on a lot more symptoms quicker. So stress is a factor, a big factor, and working really, really hard with your body. You want to stay fit, but you don't want to overdo. So I'm trying to find this balance of all this. And hopefully I will. But I didn't want to keep you in the dark about it. I didn't want you to think that I didn't care or something, on days when I just can't seem to do what I need to do as far as keeping up with the channel and everything else. This is about a 20-year battle, and I'm in it probably about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, maybe a little less. But I've started noticing some things. I've started having some moments when I don't know, and I have to wait for my mind to catch up, which so far it does. There have been moments of emotion that I can't explain. Of course, I had a big loss in the summertime, and that's still weighing on things. But there's been moments when emotion came out of nowhere, and I didn't even know what it was. So far, I've been able to talk myself into doing better. Speech sometimes, when I'm very tired, is more difficult, and there's a kind of a headache that seems to want to spend time with me now. I ain't real happy about that either. But we need to be open in our dialogue about such things. If you have somebody that you trust with this kind of knowledge, it's very personal. It's very personal when someone comes to you and says, all these years I have done for myself, and now it appears that I'm going to have to start thinking in other directions as well. I decided that the pleasure of being on the ranch, even though it was difficult work, especially after losing somebody I love so much, that the pleasure of the ranch was just as important as, trying to fight something. There has to be a balance in life about when you think you can fight and when you think that you should live. And I'm going to try to balance the two together and see how I do. The music that I wrote and that you just heard, and I hope you like it, is sort of an idea that I've been kicking around for a long time of musical journeys. I pictured a bard on the back of a merchant's wagon going through a town. Just a little town, maybe in the 1600s, something like that. It just felt right to me. I'm going to do some other stuff like that and continue to write music. I've had a very sweet request to bring back some flute, and I will do that too. The smoke from Wyoming did a number on my lungs, so it makes it a little bit harder to do the flute, but I will. I'm going to continue exactly as I have been doing for a while now, and bring music and bring laughter and everything else. And I probably won't mention this very often, but if you are or you know of someone who's starting to have these things, it sort of resembles the beginning of Alzheimer's. The tests are kind of extensive. They got to do MRI. They got to look for certain telltales in the blood and the body and all that kind of thing. But they're starting to kind of pin this down. And if I can, I'll find a clinical trial or something that maybe I can help with, because I don't know, one more voice that's going to speak out and say I care and I love and I want to make a difference, in somebody's life. Anyway, I didn't really want to talk quite this long, and there's probably some other things that I don't really want to reveal at this time, but over time, I'll bring it up, and y'all feel free to talk about this and talk among yourselves too. It's beautiful how I see everybody talking to each other now. It's a splendid community of love, and that's all I bring you is love. I really, really do love you. I really do encourage you to try to figure out these things. Don't just sit back and go, well, I'm going to have this, and this is the end of me, and that's that. No, don't you do that. Don't you do that. You are worthy of a good life. You are worthy of trying and fighting for. Even if you're fighting for yourself, you are worthy of all these things, and I don't want you to give up. And just like me, I'm going to seek professional advice as soon as I can. you know, as soon as I can afford to do these kind of things. And I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep ranching and, you know, riding that silly mule and maybe even get up on that old horse, you know, because he's a pretty cool guy too. But for now, I'm working, and I'm going to keep writing music for y'all, sending my love, and we'll keep talking about stuff. There's been some things brought up, and I'm going to talk about those too. And I don't have a P.O. box yet. Don't panic. If you did write me, it's okay. They're holding on to my mail till I get situated and whatever. It just takes a little bit of time. Silly arm just gets tired all by itself. Let it go. There we go. Up. Anyway, I hope I brought you 5 minutes of joy. And I don't mean to worry you. We all got to go through something. This, I guess, will be mine. And I'll take you with me if that's where you want to go. And we'll see if we can't figure some things out together. So in your comments to me, if you know of anything that seems to be helpful, I certainly do read them, and I try to get to everybody. And I'm still going to let her write, try to get to everybody. Oh gosh, that's enough for now. My goodness, I'll talk your ear off. I love you. Thank you for letting me in your lives. Thank you for giving me encouragement. And thank you for listening to my music. It comes from my heart to you. And I love you very, very much. Bye-bye.